his It Needed to Be Said podcast came out this week, or on the 10th. And he came in with some jabs on our guys, including saying that he thinks Tua is a more accurate quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Who got the strongest arm? Tua or Pat Mahomes? Tua or Patrick Mahomes? Obviously, like I'm gonna go with 1.5 as the strongest arm, but as far as accuracy wise, I'm going with Tua all day.
So which one would you rather have? The deep ball where you got to scramble around the field to try to go find it? Or do you want that accuracy to hit you right in the bread basket on the run?
I want it to hit me right in the bread basket, just like I did in the Buffalo Bills game, and take it 70.
That was one segment that a lot of people had problems with. He also went on to say Pat is going to struggle without him, and that he wanted to get the same treatment as Pat, which is I think that part's kind of weird. I get the first thing, but the weird part was that not getting the same treatment as Pat.
I don't care about notoriety, though. I don't care about none of that, man. I'm from South Georgia, dog. Only thing I care about is respect within the building. Notoriety outside the building, I don't care about none of that, man, because none of that ain't gonna win us games on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like Patrick, Kelce, they can have all of that. They can have all of that. But look, this is what I want inside the building. I want the head coach to know that on Sundays that defenses fear Tyreek Hill. That's what I want the head coach to know. And the head coach do know that, though. He know that without the cheat on the field, he know that, hey, Pat, you're gonna have a long day today. You know what I'm saying? Pat, he heck of a quarterback, hell of a player. I love him to death, but come on, man. Sometimes I just want people to just be like, hey, Tyreek, like him. You know what I'm saying?
That was a quote, another one that people thought was an odd one. And then lastly, this kind of talks about the whole underutilization that we talked about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And Tyreek Hill didn't say that, but Tyreek Hill talks with Agent Drew Rosenhaus. He said, Drew, tell him about the texts. His text he's alluding to, he would text Drew Rosenhaus about earlier on in the season. He started texting him about underutilization.
There was a lot of times during the year that we felt that Tyreek was underutilized and wasn't fully appreciated, and that they really weren't taking full advantage of all of his ability and talent. But Tyreek's a trooper. He never made a peep about it. He
never went to the media.
Was extremely professional, but Tyreek was a real champion and handled it. But it was frustrating on many occasions. After a number of games, Tyreek and I would communicate, and it was frustrating that he wasn't given a chance to do more to help the team in their efforts to win games.
There's a lot here, and I suggest go to that episode. It's about 52 minutes long. It's pretty good. Probably about 30 minutes of it is devoted to the whole Chiefs topics, so it's really good stuff. But these are the biggest parts of him kind of going at the Chiefs for certain things. So JD, now that we've heard what he had to say about the Chiefs and Patrick and Andy and Travis, what do you have to say about this podcast episode?
What do I have to say about this podcast, this episode on Tyreek Hill? I mean, to be honest, I don't know what, really what to expect other than, part of it was to reel everybody in to come watch his podcast. And he accomplished that. He did. So I watched a little bit of it. I watched a little from those excerpts of him kind of saying those things. So I'll tell you what, man. To me, it just really seemed that it was unnecessary for Tyreek to say those things. But you could tell that there's some pain behind his words. That's what I took at it. Just for the simple fact that he was talking about he wanted to stay with the Chiefs, talk to Andy. Andy was like, hey, do you want to be here? He was like, yeah, I want to be here. Matter of fact, I don't even need to be the highest paid, wide receiver. I just want to be here with the Chiefs. And so, it's always, and I said this before, when you get into a relationship, this is a relationship. And you gotta liken it to that, because really, you're spending a lot of your time at the facility, you're getting to know people, this is your family. Really, this is your family. Outside of your main family, because you spend most of your time with them. You're going out to eat. You joke with them. Man, you're doing. All day. It's all day, every single day. It's like that, and so, I knew it was going to be a little bit of, feeling sour. That's what it kind of seemed like, and so the bitterness, I think, kind of entails from just that, not being signed again, with the Chiefs, or losing out, or he's maybe feeling like they didn't fight hard enough for me, or they knew what I can do, but yet they didn't meet my demands as far as paying me. So that's my take on it. That's my take on it. And so we'll go into kind of what you were talking about, some of the points he made. The point of him not saying that he was being utilized enough, I think a lot of that is just ego talking. He's talking about he's talking like one of the best wide receivers should talk in the NFL. To be honest with you, I don't know a guy. Well, I take that back. This is not true. I was going to say I don't know a guy that's a top wide receiver that doesn't talk noise. There's some guys that do it with a great amount of grace. Doesn't really sit down and chirp a lot about what they do. But Tyreek he's completely confident in his abilities, no doubt about it. Okay, and let me just say this here, all right, because I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter. I've seen people kind of rant and rave all these different things about Tyreek. Listen, without a doubt, love him or hate him, and however these things played out, Tyreek Hill came to Kansas City and helped win a Super Bowl, bar none, without a doubt. And so to think that, we don't go to 4 AFC championship games and 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill, to me is completely ridiculous. To make that argument, to me, is just sitting there saying, well, shoot, now it sounds like you got sour grapes. I get it. Look, as fans and the guys who play the game and whatnot, you want a guy to have, a little bit more loyalty, to, the team and what he's doing. I get that part of it. But also, too, what we're not going to do, we're just not going to do is we're not going to sit here and act like this guy was like chopped liver. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to sit here. And I heard somebody say, well, the Chiefs gave him an opportunity. Listen, the Chiefs and Tyreek, they both benefited mutually. It was a mutual benefit on both parties, without a doubt. Okay. So the thing is, he's cheated for a reason. He's one of the best, explosive weapons in the NFL right now, and probably will be of all time, to be honest with you. We know his ability to catch the football and almost go hit his head on the goalpost every other time, right? Every chance he got. And I think Tyreek, that's part of like him sitting there saying, like, look, I wasn't being utilized because I want the ball all the time. That's what he's saying. He wants the ball all the time. It was funny because I heard Keyshawn kind of talk about it, and I started laughing before Keyshawn started talking, because I was just like, I want to hear what Keyshawn's going to say. Of all people, all people having egos wanting the football, I want to see what Keyshawn had to say. And so he's like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you get it. Y'all know you get it. Because he just wanted to be fair. And for somebody who's a vital part of the offense, who is that weapon, who is that, one hit and go get it, he's that guy. He wants the ball in his hands. Mm. And I don't think he's really knocking anybody else down by saying that. I think what he's doing is he's showing his ability, right? I think he's just putting it out there, letting everybody, because everybody knows, but he's just like, look, man, I'm Tyreek Hill. If we're in a bind, get me the football. I don't care what we need to do. I don't need to go on a deep route. Put me on a shallow cross. Put me on a reverse. Whatever you need to do to get the ball in my hands for me to get out of this, then so be it. Let me have it. Yeah. And so I know, like a top wide receiver, he's looking at stats all around the league. Okay. He's looking on the other side of the ball. Who else is getting catches? Mm. That's how it works. And so he brought up the Baltimore game where he caught 3 passes, I think, for a certain amount of yards. Yeah. I know he was pissed, right? So, look, we know teams played, that too high shell, okay? Dropping 8 to make sure you stop Tyreek Hill and the passing game with Patrick Mahomes, right? Because that's what we leaned on. That's what we was leaning on, Patrick, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes. That's the three-headed monster. I mean, it was hard to stop in the league. And so, the games bear it out. The numbers bear it out. But a guy that is as explosive as he is, he just wanted the ball in his hands. That was it. So what's the other two? And, because I want to let you kind of talk in between, all right? So I don't want to go on.
You're good. You're good. The other point, and I will say, because that was a top, not that he was underutilized, but I think he could have been utilized more. And I think, and we had that topic on the show after we lost the Bengals game with could we use him more in the backfield, more like Debo? And I think, and the report so far that McDaniels, being the OC from San Francisco, they want to use him more like Debo in that kind of that role. And you can kind of tell Tyreek's kind of bulked up this offseason. So maybe they are going to use him in that role, which I'm excited to see him in that role if they do use him like Debo.
Well, look, and I think it's a great point. I think, it's almost saying the same thing because people are saying, well, look, he's not going to be as successful as he was in Kansas City. He's still Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Okay. You get the ball in his hand. He's still going to go hit his head on the goalpost. I don't care where you put him. I don't care if he's in, I don't know who's the worst team, the Jets or Jacksonville. I don't care where you put him. Yeah. He's still going to be explosive on the football field. So he just has that ability, and we can't forget the amount of people he can make miss. I mean, we're talking about like I said, like a 5-yard, shallow cross, and then taking it to the house, peace signs up to people. Come on, man. Let's just be honest here, okay? He's a weapon.
One of a
kind. So like yeah. And so just like Debo, can Debo go other places and do what he did in San Fran? Possibly, right? Because of his makeup. Now, we don't know if they're utilizing him like that, but like you said, McDaniels, he's without a doubt. Look, they got Waddle and they got McDaniel, and Tyreek. It's going to look, them guys going to be explosive down there. And Gesicki, the tight end, they got some guys now. They do. They got some guys down there. So they're gonna be, a pretty good offense. And look, and I'm not taking anything away from Tua. And I want to be fair to him also. I think Tua's a good quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Okay, let's just be honest about that too. He's not Patrick Mahomes. All right, but Tua, he's the guy that won the championship. Okay, in college. We know his ability, what he can do. Scrambling and throwing the football. It's going to take him a couple of years to really get acclimated into the NFL, right? I think Tua's going to be a decent quarterback. I think he will. But to say that he's more accurate than Patrick, hey man, you've only had him for a few weeks. I get it, right? Part of your job, okay? Part of your job as a player when you go to a new team is the guy that's throwing the football to you supposed to be as great as sliced bread. He's supposed to be. If you're not talking about him, hey man, this guy right here he's throwing darts to me. I mean, everything's on the money. I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. But don't slander your other team. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go into that part of trying to make your point. Okay. You can say, look, Tua's a absolutely wonderful quarterback. Patrick's Patrick, Tua's Tua. Okay. I don't have to compare them to. Patrick, without a doubt, is one of the top quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think nobody's going to argue that. I don't think somebody's going to be like, boo, Tua is. Oh, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
We watched him. So we know he's going to have some bumps and bruises. It's going to be easier because he got you down there, Tyreek. Mm-hmm. It's going to be easier because he got Waddle down there with him. I get that. But to say he's more accurate than Patrick, I don't know. We'll wait and see until after the couple of years you play with him, okay, how these things go. And if you're just handing them off, well, then he's going to be very accurate, right?
Exactly.
He's handing off to you. He's going to be 100%, really. Yeah. So, short passes, I could throw a short pass. Look, I'll throw a dart 5 yards at 10.
Tight end double pass?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Pass.
So all those things are going to come up.
Mm.
But I just want to say that. I just want to kind of put it out there that, we need to be fair to each other. Tyreek really didn't have to go that far, but I don't like fans going in and saying like, oh, he's not doing this and now look, man, Tyreek was one of the most explosive players to play in the NFL and for the Chiefs. Yeah. And that's not going to go away. that right there. I don't think it's going to be blemished for him sitting there saying like, I just wanted the football to make the Chiefs win.
Yeah.
That's how I took it. When guys have egos that play these positions, I don't care if you're wide receiver, defensive tackle, defensive end, safety, kicker, punter, or you the water boy. You're going to be the best water boy when you're out there. You know, you're going to let them know, look, I got the new Gatorade. I'm the one bringing out the cold drinks. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm that guy. So be it.
And 10, 15 years, 15 to 20 years time, he'll be in the Chiefs Ring of Honor at some point. So
come on. Yeah.
This is all just pretty much noise. But I will say, you made the point about Tua. You know, he hasn't even played in a game with Tua yet. He's already, he's already buttering him up. You know, he wants those targets. You know, he wants the ball.
Right.
He's gonna butter him up.
That's right.
But did you kind of see this kind of like because it was not only the accuracy comment, he also said the comment about it's gonna be rough without Tyreek Hill there. I mean, I forgot what the exact quote was, but essentially said it's gonna be rough it's gonna be a long day for Patrick without me there. Talking about how Patrick's gonna struggle without him, and then he also had that comment about where's the exact hey Pat, you're gonna have a long day, or no. Sometimes I just want people to be like, treat me like him. And he was talking about Pat there.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's kind of like a sour grapes towards Patrick. I mean, he dogged his accuracy, and then he talks about Patrick's going to struggle without him. And then he also said he wanted to be treated like Patrick. It's like everyone knows in every sport, you're a receiver, you're a tight end, you're always going to be treated differently than the quarterback. Quarterbacks are always going to be treated differently, no matter how good the quarterback is. Naturally, the quarterback gets preferential treatment, right? I mean, that's just how it is, right?
Without a doubt, it definitely is. I just think that statement there right there, he just felt like he wasn't, I don't think, appreciated as much because he's not the face of the franchise. He's not on the billboards everywhere. He's not doing the national commercials. He's not that face of the Chiefs. And sometimes when a guy's like, man, I'm the star, shoot, I'm the one helping make Patrick, right? It's part of that ego coming in. It's the voices that's talking to you. And so that's part of like that kind of gnawing at him, like, hey, man, look, Patrick does something wrong. Nobody gets on Patrick. You don't really hear about all the grumblings about how bad Patrick is. It's like, he's the perfect guy, because he kind of, threw some like, the Wonder Boy gets here and it's all, he's does this. And, so I think it was part of that, like thinking that, maybe I'm the third wheel in this whole deal. Yeah. Because first off, they're talking about Patrick. Second, they talk about Travis, and I'm the third guy. And he probably believes he's the number one guy. He should be. I'm the number one wide receiver. I'm the cheater. I'm the cheater, right? And so I think that's what that was. And it's like I don't think it was a slight toward Patrick. I think it was just to him is saying like, man, daggone, like, can I get some of that love too? Yeah. Hey man, look, if something goes wrong and you to blame, you got to take the blame. You got to take it. And I think maybe he thought like Patrick was kind of, the Teflon kid. Because, regardless of what happened, nobody really criticized Patrick as much. So
if a quarterback getting the limelight's bothering him, then he's going to a perfect situation because Tua's more of like an underdog right now. Whereas if he does do well, it's like, oh wow, okay, Tua's all right. But like, going to a situation where quarterback's definitely beneath him. Level. I think he likes the situation. It sounds like.
Oh man, he's going to be the big dog down in Miami. Yeah. He's going to get all the love right now, man. And the Dolphins, they opened their arm, welcomed him in open arms. Yeah, and they should. They should. So, like I said, man, I'm just not going to, sit there and the guy he's supposed to say all the things with the team he's going to about the quarterback he's supposed to be talking about. He's supposed to be talking about how great his ability is and be confident in that. And I think he's saying it in words that we don't quite like him saying it in. Right. But that's how he feels. And he says it that way. So, but also too, he was like, man, I don't like the limelight. Look, let Patrick have it. Let, Travis have it. Yeah. But in the same sense, there's a little ego right there back like, hey, man, you deserve a little bit at honey too, don't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe not getting the love. Yeah. So, but also too, man, we always talk about it's the same thing. the voices that you hear, right? And so on his podcast, obviously it's his lawyer, and of course it's Drew. Drew's going to be, look, Drew, all he's worried about is contracts, okay? He's worried about Tyreek, how much he's going to get paid, because he's going to get paid off of it. And so Drew was like, yeah, we felt like he wasn't being utilized. Okay. You know, every time, you know, you come off, if your agent in sitting there saying you should have been in a game more, or you should have had more catches or more runs or more touches,
yeah,
you need to get rid of that guy. You know, he's like, no, they did you okay. They what? You know, he's supposed, you work for me. So whatever I feel, you're supposed to feel the same way.
Yep.
So if I'm feeling down, you should be like, yeah, damn, yeah, right? If I'm angry, you're supposed to be upset, like, yeah, shoot, right? Yeah. He's supposed to be in your corner, and that's Drew. It's his cut man. He's his corner man. That's what he's doing, right?
It's his hype man, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be there. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess for me, and I guess I can speak for a lot of Chief fans here, the ones who were kind of pissed off, you know, and I'm not going to say, oh, we would have done what we did, the success we've had for the last 4 years without him. That's ridiculous. But I will say, I think we've had in the history in the NFL, we've had a lot of like big time receivers leave their teams. And they don't really go on these kind of like, you know, lambastings of their last quarterback, their other teams and stuff. They don't really do that in a public manner like this. I mean, I know his podcast is all about it needed to be said. He wants to say these things, but like there's a classy way to do things. I don't know. I don't think this was the classiest way to kind of leave a team and to do this, because now it's just like, all right, you made enemies with a lot of the fan base who adored you and will be wearing your jerseys, you know, for forever, really, you know.
Yeah, I just thought that was ill-conceived for him to do that and come in and say it that way. I just do. Like I said, there's no reason for him to go in and slander anybody, which I don't think it was really that much of a slander, but him just sitting there saying like, hey, I didn't get as much touches, or I'm not getting as much love and stuff. You know, I think he should have probably thought that through. Yeah. You know, but hey, man, that's his platform. And look, this day and age is what it's all about. So if it's not on social media and you blowing and tooting your own horn, or your fans are doing it for you, then you ain't really doing nothing, right?
Yeah, I agree. No, 100%. And I will say, as far as, you know, we talk about legacy, you know, and no matter what happens with he can go to Miami and, you know, do nothing, right? They you know, have not have the best seasons that he's had, like he produced in Kansas City. But no matter what he does in Miami, he'll always have what I think second in most of our receiving categories. Had a Super Bowl ring. I mean, no matter what, his legacy, I can't say cemented. So it's like, don't throw the dirt in the eyes of the fans who are always going to love you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You go to Miami and it may turn out to be nothing. You don't win any Super Bowls there. You don't really do much there. At the end of the day, you're always going to go back to what you did in Kansas City, and those are fans who are going to continue to love the cheetah. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing I kind of run me off the wrong way.
You know, I think, you know, part of the problem is because, you know, as fans, you know, and the players, we get emotionally invested into everything. Yeah. And so sometimes people feel, hey, this guy right here, because, you know, I'm just going off on this too. You know, people talking about, have their opinions about, you know, Orlando Brown Jr. and his contract and him getting paid, and, you know, how this is going to work. And this guy, he's going to be the good and whatnot. Look, these are all opinions. Okay. And so when somebody is emotionally invested into these things and you feel like somebody is taking a dump on you or saying something like that, then human nature is to come back. Right. But let's not be, you know, outlandish in what yeah. You know, what we think these things are, right? It's like, okay, just take a step back. Hey man, let him go. Hey, you know what? Have a good time to Tyreek down there. Have a good time in Miami. Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yep. And for me, I think a lot of Chief fans, that's the only episode I think Chief fans will be listening to, because unless there's Patrick Mahomes in the episode, I don't think anyone's going to be wanting to listen to that podcast. Yeah. Last thing I'll say is, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that somebody might sneak in every once in a while and see what he peek in. Man, What, you know, it's almost like the train wreck. What's this? What do you got to say this week?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
What else is coming out, right? So,
but, you know, talk about Patrick Mahomes, you know, without Tyreek Hill, and the 5 games without Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes has a quarterback rating of 103.1. He had 1,737 yards passing, 8 touchdowns to 1 interception in the 5 games without Tyreek Hill. So,
Patrick, look,
solid.
Patrick and the Chiefs are going to be fine. They are. They will make it. They will make it. So sometimes that's that like I said, the ego. You hope they don't do well.
Yeah.
Because then they like, man, we missed Tyreek, or we should have talked. Because then they talk about you. I keep going back to relationships. If you break up with somebody and you see him with somebody new, you hoping that person's thinking in their head, I made a wrong decision, get with this new person, right? But they don't do the same thing that JD did, or they don't do the. Well, I'm phenomenal what I do, but I'm just saying, So
right. I get it.
Yeah, man. So hey, I don't know.
And we saw probably one of the biggest breakups in NFL history with Brady and the Patriots, and there wasn't anything like this. And Tom Brady's a very public guy. He's got, he's very out there. Nothing. There was nothing there. He actually denied allegations of him and Belichick having bad blood. I mean, maybe there is bad blood between the two, but they both denied that.
He held back from saying what he wanted to say. I think in the way that he did it, I think it was a little bit more a lot better than how Tyreek said it, And so Tom just kind of like, hey man, I'm gonna leave it out. I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna let my career talk about it. I'm gonna let that go from where it is. You don't entertain these things. And sometimes, like I said, all the salacious stuff, you don't entertain. Yeah. But some guys fall for it, man. The fans fall for it. We all fall for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Tyreek could have started that podcast, and he would have had a ton of Dolphins fans, a ton of Chief fans tuning into that. Now he's really segmented himself where you're going to have a one fan base that will not be tuning in because of the episode. He could have had a bigger demographic, but now he just has the Miami demographic right now.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's fans that still love him, right? I ain't mad at the guy. Yeah. Okay. You had to go do what you had to do. Chiefs had to do what they had to do. It's all business, man. That's how it works in the NFL. So.
Got 5 picks for him, so
got 5 picks, man. The Chiefs are going to be fine. Okay, Tyreek, we'll see you in Miami, buddy. Okay, have a good one.
All right, so then I know a lot of Chief fans are kind of done with the Tyreek Hill stuff, but that's it. That's the last Tyreek Hill, probably the last Tyreek Hill segment on this show.
No. Hey, look,
We'll see.
We'll
see. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.